Hey everybody, welcome to another Facebook video. I have to say that I was really surprised, shocked by the response that I had gotten from the video that I had put out yesterday. As of now, and this can change obviously, but as of now, it was almost 2,500 views on Facebook. So I've never had that before. So thank you to everyone who came in, who joined parts of it, the whole thing, parts of it, whatever it is. And I hope that it was useful. And I'd like to follow it up with another video that can also hopefully be useful. One of the things that I spend a lot of time on is trying to bring parents and teachers together. You know, that alliance between teachers and parents in school is so critical. In fact, I had done a couple of conversations with Hetty Chang, who is the founder and director of Attendance Works. And, you know, one of her main objectives, obviously the objective of Attendance Works is to identify and prevent chronic absence. And so much of the solution involves working with families, working with parents. So critical. And the question is, how can we do that? That's one of the most elusive parts of teaching. You know, I always say that nobody ever goes into education because they love working with parents. You know, we come into education because we like working with kids. We like seeing the growth. It's always about the kids. And that's exciting for us. That gets us going. Once the parents start to get involved, especially when it's a difficult problem, it becomes really difficult. So how can we do that? How can we improve the alliance between teachers and parents? And the answer, I think, is really simple. It's about telling good stories. When we hear a good story, we're compelled by that, we're drawn into that, and we want to hear more, we want to be involved in that. When we hear stories that are not good, then we're turned off, we're pushed away. And so often we pull parents into the conversation when it's a bad story, and we're complaining to the parent, and we tell them that their child has this problem or the other problem. And the natural reaction of a parent is to defend their child. The natural reaction of a parent is to lay the blame elsewhere. And when you're dealing with a complex system, as the school system is, and there are so many places where we can point blame, I'm not saying that it's right to point blame. It's certainly not useful to point blame, but it's possible. So as a parent, I'm going not to find blame in my own child. I'm going to find blame in, the weakest link will usually get the blame. So how can we tell a better story? So at Class Stars, this is something that we take very seriously. And I want to jump in here and do a little bit of a different demo than what I usually do. I want to start from the individual dashboard. So let's jump in here and, look at this individual dashboard. That's a dashboard for Jess Gavin. This is a behavior individual dashboard. And, if you've seen the input interface of Class Stars, which we'll get to momentarily, this is the story that you can sit down with the parent and tell the parent. And what you have here along the top is the timeline that we're looking at. So you have here starting at September 2nd, running all the way across to October 10th. And each day has a little bar. And the colors in the bar represent the kind of data that was collected on that day. So the yellow is for academic, the red is for misbehavior, the green is for positive feedback. And you see days that have, more or less of whatever it is. It's a general idea of where the activity is. And you can move this timeline, you can make it bigger or smaller. I don't want to do that right now, just for the, for the sense of saving the time. Okay, and this is where you can get an overview and see what's going on here. In this column here, you have a list of every single event that was recorded. Oops, sorry about that. Let's, just pick the notes. So you can scroll through this list and you have every single event that was recorded. And every event has the icon of the event, the name of the event, the date and time that it was recorded. And if there was a rating, you're going to see that here. So this good decision happened on October 9th, 2020 at 10:06 a.m. And it was a 2 out of 5 rating. Very good. Here's a good effort. They got a 5 out of 5. So you can go through that, and you can filter through by tapping on this filter bar. You can filter it through. And here is the legend. The green is positive, the red is negative, the yellow is correct, and the orange is incorrect. And here we have a bubble chart that actually plots along a timeline. So these are the events that were recorded from the beginning of class, which was at 10, ending at 10:25. Then there's a class that runs from 10 to 10:30. And this is a random class. So this data is random. It's not really going to tell much of a story, but the red dots are the misbehaviors. If you tap on a red dot, it will actually highlight that particular event. And the bigger dots means that it got a bigger rating. If I tap on a smaller dot, you see that was a big one that has a 5 rating. If I tap on the small red dot, it highlights something that has 0 or 1. something in between. If I tap over here, that's going to highlight something that has 2. So you can get a very clear picture here of the story that's going on. And typically when you have a kid that has a lot of red and you start interacting with them in a more positive way and working the intervention, you'll see as the dates go up, starting from August 31st, all the way through October 11th, you're going to see a decrease in the misbehaviors if the intervention is working. And you're also going to be charting all the positive feedback that you give. And that's really, really important. So you can actually sit down with the parent and say, look, here's the story. Over the last couple of weeks, over the last 4 weeks, this is the behavior plotted out on, on your child Jess's timeline. So there was a lot of misbehavior in the beginning, but look how much positive feedback we've been giving him, because we've been noticing that when we give him positive feedback, it reduces the misbehaviors. And this is the way it's been going. And another thing that's really, really important is to come with solutions. Okay, one of the biggest problems that parents have is that they're not experts in education. A lot of parents don't know how to deal with problems that their kids have. So they turn to us, to the educators, as the experts, as the ones that know how to deal with the problem. So when you're working with a parent, it's important that you also bring a solution to the table. So you could say, this is what we're doing at school and this is what's been working. Here's what you can do at home. And obviously, every situation is going to need its own thing, and maybe you'll need to get the school psychologist involved or the school social worker involved to come up with some kind of a solution plan for the parents to implement at home to supplement the teachers in school. So basically, just to review, you need to tell them positive stories. You need to tell them good stories. It can't just be complaining. They're going to be turned off by that. They're going to get defensive. You never want to work with parents where they're in a defensive posture. Start off with positive stuff. Show them positive things that you're doing. Show them that you care about their child, right? Like the famous quote that they say, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Show the parents that you care about their child. Show them that there's a positive story going on here. And the second thing is to bring solutions. So this is what you see. And the way you get this chart like this is by obviously downloading ClassStars from your app store. And you can see this right off the bat with a demo class. Here's the demo class, the very same class that we're dealing with. You start a session by tapping on the apple here. You start the session. Just takes a minute for it to start up. Always lags when we're doing the broadcast. Okay, and obviously you can set up again, like I always say, you can set up the class however your class is set up, so it can reflect your actual classroom layout. We'll skip taking attendance for now, go straight to class. Here you have your entire class. And again, it's meant to be used with your finger, but we're going to use the arrow so that you can see where I'm pointing. We'll put it on full function mode so that when there's a misbehavior, you swipe down and then you get this menu. Tap if Valentine was distracted. That marks that. You can give it a rating from 1 to 5. Give that a 4, but then you can engage her with positive feedback by swiping up. And then you tell her, wow, that was a great effort, right? Whatever the effort might have been. And you give that a 5 rating. If you are engaging her academically, you swipe to the left. And if she got it right, you would tap on basic and advanced. If she got it wrong, you would tap on incorrect. You give her that. Like we discussed yesterday, you have these 2-day meters to measure the positive feedback. You want to make sure that everybody's getting positive feedback. But as you use this, you're filling out the charts, and then you have the chart like I showed you beforehand on demand with each and every class. Really simple, really effective, and it gives you an opportunity to talk to parents and to other members of the team about children that are struggling in a very positive way. And that's what builds the alliance, and that's what ultimately is going to help the kids do really, really well. So I hope you found this useful. Please leave your feedback in the comments. Feel free to download the app. It is free, and enjoy it. Take care. See you next time.